Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lovehon.
Well, hey there, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lovehon coming to you from Cairns, Australia. We've, of course, been on this Wonders of Australia tour for the last week, but what we've also been doing for the last week is getting you ready for severe weather. The entire Mississippi Live Weather team has been tracking this potential that is going to arrive as we go into tonight. And we anticipate that most storms will hopefully be below severe limits, but a few will produce damaging wind gusts, and there is a limited tornado threat. As we look at our confidence, in particular, starting with tornadoes, I think a couple rotating storms are possible. I think there's a narrow corridor where perhaps a brief spin-up tornado is possible, but I think it's more likely, even in that corridor, that we're dealing with strong wind gusts, and I think that's the main impact, that if we see something that many of us will end up seeing. Hail, not impossible, some flash flooding, not impossible as well, but this is kind of one and done, and hopefully that will limit the overall impacts related to this. Our severe risk has been expanded eastward to the Mississippi-Alabama state line, and then southward down south of the Hattiesburg area. You can see most locations that we cover here on Mississippi Live Weather under that level 2 out of 5 severe weather risk. Now, the tornado risk, let's talk about this for a second. You can see this has also been expanded eastward toward the Mississippi-Alabama state line, but we have this notch of North Mississippi that's not included. The reason for that is because there are some indications on projections that there'll be a narrow corridor where a rotating storm's more likely. Farther south, that's more likely, and there's also going to be more instability in fuel there. And that could be a limiting factor for our northeastern portion of the state. All locations damaging wind gusts, the most likely threat. But again, looking at the top there, that level 1 out of 5 comes back to confidence and really ultimately the number of reports that we could end up seeing for severe weather. Level 2 means a more limited number of reports, and hopefully that's the way that plays out. That's also part of the reason why we look at that severe hail risk, that most of us are not included in that. Let's talk timing again. Most of today we're fine. This is this evening. This is tonight. This is overnight, and it will be past midnight for some locations near the Alabama state line where we see that peak of severe weather potential, including damaging winds and perhaps an isolated tornado. Here's a look at the storm rotation. And as we look at our Futurecast here, you'll notice very little between now and, say, 6 p.m. We go back to the west. You can see back out there in the Arkansas, in particular, southern Arkansas, northern Louisiana, these individual storms. That is what we're going to be watching. That's the greatest issues where we might potentially have the potential for this to try to spin up a tornado. Notice how this becomes a little bit more of a line of thunderstorms as we progress into this evening. We'll go 7, 8 o'clock, primarily a line there stretching from Forest City, Arkansas, back to Clarksdale and Shelby. But we are watching down toward Yazoo City, down toward Vicksburg, these individual storms. As those merge with our line, that's when there's a greater potential for this to produce a tornado. Watch this at the top where this shows storm rotation there. That storm rotation is something where we watch if it's going to get one of these storms to try to rotate. That's where we're watching that to get brighter. See where you see a little bit brighter red there showing up. Now Hollandales and Chula, that shows a little more rotation out of that. Most of what we have north here, Holly Springs, Oxford, we don't show as much rotation with that, right? So again, a sign that hopefully most of those storms are not damaging, but more likely to produce some damaging winds out of that portion of the line. Let's advance things here, going toward around 11 o'clock to midnight. Notice we do have a few spots where these stripes start showing up. One that was back there, Winona, Eupora in particular, and the rotation, again, I think is mainly strong straight line winds, but I think there is a zone here in the storms that track there in this zone from, say, Greenwood to Grenada to Bruce to Shannon, southward to Columbus, back out here, Macon to Goodman, maybe Louisville, where perhaps we have this trying to spin up an isolated tornado. I would say time frame based on this projection is somewhere around, we'll say as early as 9 p.m. and as late as 1 a.m. But there is a corridor here. Again, either side of US 82, maybe peaking around Eupora to Ackerman to Vaden to Winona, Duck Hill, to West Point to Aberdeen to Columbus to Starkville, where this could potentially try to produce a brief tornado or damaging wind gusts. And a lot of times in a line like this, it looks very, very similar. I would anticipate some tornado warnings out of this tonight, and that means we have to be knowing that tornado safe place, where to shelter, lowest floor, sturdy structure. But because of the time of day, there are always other concerns, and that is the reason why we definitely recommend that you have our weather call. Mississippi Live Weather Call, of course, if you have the app, we'll talk more about that here in a second, but Mississippi Live Weather Call could be a lifesaver in overnight tornadoes. It lets you know if you're in that tornado warning, in that danger zone, and will call you, and then, of course, call you back if a tornado is confirmed. With these kind of lines of storms like what we're going to have here, typically we don't have a whole ton of lead time. So in this case, if you're under severe thunderstorm warning, we should always be in that tornado safe place just in case on these overnight storms. You will get the calls, you will get the confirmation. It is not a free service, unfortunately. That's because making phone calls costs money, and that's something that the weather call folks, we just, there's a cost associated with that. Same reason we still pay for a cell phone service, even in this day and age, and to make phone calls. But I highly recommend you pick up our weather call product there. And if you don't have weather call, certainly one other thing that of course is helpful is the Mississippi Live Weather app. I'll go and pop up that QR code. We know we do have some people out there that just at this point in time still watch us only on Facebook. Get that. But I am no longer at the TV station. So if you have that TV station's app, you're not going to see what we're doing. Hopefully, they continue to do a great job. They've done so for 70 years. Hopefully, they do, but I'm not going to be on that. And our entire team, myself, Caleb, of course, Maggie, and Gabe, all have been talking about this behind the scenes and in front of the camera for the last week. We're all going to be watching things very, very closely. Being that I'm in Australia, we will see how the time frame works out and whether or not I have a flight scheduled later on today. I'm thinking that I should be at least somewhat available by the time these storms move through. Not a guarantee. Again, I'm 15 hours difference in what we are back there in Mississippi, but I'm going to try to watch it. We're going to hopefully be able to have some kind of live forecast update on this as well as we get a little bit closer. But just the big headline is make sure you have that app. Because I'm, again, not at the TV station anymore. So that is the way you will get, not just for this severe weather event, but every severe weather event after this, the opportunity to watch what we're doing here on Mississippi Live Weather. So again, make sure you have that Mississippi Live Weather app. And again, appreciate the good folks at Room to Room for, helping us in the Room to Room Weather Center here, whether it's on this side of the world or on your side of the world. So again, updates when we start talking about that. One other thing to mention, our live broadcasts every day scheduled at 6 p.m. and 10 p.m. here from the Room to Room Weather Center, wherever part of the world we're at. We will probably have another live update, similar to what we're talking about here, maybe a little more interactive, so we can have the Facebook end of this going on as well. To kind of talk through some things. Can't guarantee time frame on that. I'm hoping to possibly get one of those before we get on the plane early in the morning. If not, very, very late tonight, my time zone here. So keep it here for the very latest information. We'll have updates. Thank you for all you for supporting. And if you're watching this on one of the other formats, such as YouTube, like and subscribe. So we do our live streams on here as well. And hopefully things don't get too terribly bad. But of course, we'll be watching things very, very closely as a result of that, as we always do. Okay? So thank you for joining us here on Mississippi Live Weather. And we will see you a little later on today. Be safe, be smart, and we'll be in good shape.
At Bulldog Burger, we take the burger game to the next level, like the Freshman 15, stacked with panko fried mozzarella. Unleash your appetite.
Behind closed doors, something big is happening at Room to Room Tupelo.
For 3 days only, unlock hidden savings at our on-site secret warehouse sale. Furniture, rugs, accessories, everything must go. Don't wait. The secret warehouse sale ends Saturday at 6 p.m. at Room to Room.